Welcome to the Hostile Zone.
Use your voice, Cinotti hears you.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Hostile Zone. I'm the infamous and dangerous and always in your face, pulling back that curtain on waste, fraud, and abuse in our government and addressing societal issues. Eric A. Cinotti, Eric Andrew Cinotti with a real big A. We all know what it stands for. Who?
Eric Cinotti, of course.
Right here on the Hostile Zone, on your iHeart dial, on your FM dial, on pretty much every dial, and most cable networks. And if it's not on your cable network, demand it. America, welcome back to the Hostile Zone. I'm humbled to be here yet another day. Tonight, we're going to return to the battlefield, but the battlefield where faith, justice, and freedom collide. The culture says accept decline. I say we rise, because resilience is not an option. It's never. Because resilience is never optional, not an option. Optional, typo in my brain. Never optional. It is always the path. It is the lifeblood of our republic, and it is the lifeblood of this guest of ours tonight and my lifelong relationship with this individual. Strong men defend families. Strong families fortify our communities, and strong communities are keeping our nation safe. I'm going to start on a personal note. I've known the first guest tonight since 1998, out of the great city of Paterson in Passaic County, New Jersey. We worked through Paterson and Passaic, Newark, Trenton, and even did some work in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have stood shoulder to shoulder on the front lines in different capacities, but shoulder to shoulder, fighting crime, protecting children, and demanding justice for our families. Now, the fight continues. Housing, workforce training, immigration law, and promises to America's veterans. This is the Hostile Zone, and I'm Eric A. Cinotti, and we are just getting started. But I would be remiss, folks, if I did not properly introduce my co-host. So let's go ahead and do it. And America, before we bring in our lovely guests, let me shift my focus to Ms. Bianca. Every battleground needs its general. Every battleground needs a general. But every battleground also needs a heart. I think if you're watching or listening to the show, you know who the general and who the heart is. And that's where Miss Bianca comes in. Bianca Sea, like the ocean. She is grace wrapped in strength. She is elegant, sharpened by clarity. She is the voice of the broadcast. Even she cuts through my noise. And she reminds us what the fight truly is about. Families, futures, and freedom. She is your advocate at the family kitchen table. On this show, she is not just my co-host. She is the anchor of heart. Where's Miss Bianca's tissues? Probably right here somewhere, right? So we know that she's the anchor of heart. She's fierce when it matters. And trust me, you do not want to get on her bad side, because she is fierce, because she stands up for rights. But she's gentle and pushes for healing. And she's unshakable with truth. America remembers her name. America has heard her voice. Bianca, welcome back to the Hostile Zone.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Bianca C, that's me.
You like your intro today?
I do. I always look forward to it. Surprisingly, what you would say.
I keep it fresh. You
Really do.
So we have two guests tonight that are working in tandem together. And I am very, very excited I like both of them very much, but one of them is very, very, very important to me. We go way back. Reverend Dr. Joseph T. Robinson, a pillar of the community in Paterson, Passaic County, and in New Jersey in general. We served on the streets together, and we served in committees in Trenton, the state capital, on opposite political spectrums, but together, unified for the people. And that meaningful to me. So let me make this plain and clear, America. Let me tell you about Reverend Dr. Joseph T. Robinson. He's not just a guest, he really is my brother in arms in so many ways. I'm so glad that I can continue this fight. Since 1998, we battled on the street side by side throughout Patterson, throughout a lot of administrations, through a lot of people that didn't like us telling them that they were not doing what they should do. That's fact. We faced crime, juvenile justice, and families under siege. We've been there. I've seen him fight for children that were written off by the system. And what was great on our relationship, folks, is he was community organization and I was the system. And when I got appointed to a high level position, I listened to him and I made sure that my people and the administration that I represented, as young as I was, I held an amazing position of power. And I made sure that we did what was right for him and for the people. And I held my people accountable to my detriment politically. And we'll talk about it. I've seen him defend mothers who had nowhere else to turn. I've seen him stand tall when standing tall came with a price. Man faced personal pain and suffering internally, emotionally, physically, and his family because of what he has done for the people. Today, Dr. Robinson is the senior pastor and founder of PPRE, Forever Green of North Carolina, Inc., a faith-based ministry with a model that says, not only do we recycle recyclable materials, we recycle lives. I love it. I love it. But he's got some other wonderful things going on in New Jersey. He's a pastor, and he really is really good pastor. And I'm very proud on this show. I'm Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I was an altar boy. I love religion, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. So I've enjoyed listening to him speak. I got my crucifix right here. He is a certified minority business enterprise owner, a community builder who delivers affordable housing, workforce training, and environmental justice for so many who are left behind. We also have a second guest who I met recently through the good Reverend. He himself is a Reverend as well, Reverend Jose Lanstoy. If I've said it wrong, I'm sure he'll yell at me. And joining him, he's a man who proves that law and compassion can stand side by side. And I can attest to this because we've had meetings about legal cases he's working on and how me, my team, and everything I'm involved in, we can advocate and help him. He is the head paralegal at Immigration Hope Network, LLC, and the Faith Legal Clinic, which we are supporting. We're going to be endorsing that tonight. With over 7 years of experience, Jose has mastered the craft of the legal system with precision, drafting, organizing, and winning cases that decide the fate of families, and I respect it. Beyond the law, though, his mission continues. He serves in impoverished communities. He serves through missionary work in Dominican Republic, like in very dangerous places, doing the right thing. So, America, let's welcome both of our guests, both Joseph and Jose. Bring them into the show.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
We got to unmute your, Jose. Unmute. There we go. Okay, Jose. What's the say? Oh, my pleasure. There was our intro. This is how we start. We have segments with a question. I give a question, and Bianca does a follow-up. We have a little background on it, okay? And I don't set you up on any questions, obviously, but I am not Donna Brazil giving the answers to Hillary Clinton in the debate, so you don't know the questions. That's very fair. But I don't set you up. There's no gotcha stuff. But I like to start here with you, Joe, Reverend Doc. I'm just going to call you a Rev, okay, Rev? Joe Robinson, since I've known you since 1998.
Listen, Joseph is the name my mama and my daddy gave me, and I'm fine with it.
There we go. All right, Joe. Take a few minutes to introduce yourself, and then we're going to go to Jose.
I'm Joseph T. Robinson Jr. I'm the father of 6, the grandfather of, I want to say 16, 18 grandkids.
I think more than that, probably. Yeah.
It's probably more than that, yeah.
You got to talk a little louder because I know we're having a little voice issue, so be a little louder because we have TVM radio. So I want to
okay, but I'm a community advocate. I'm
a great community advocate.
Thank you. So I work with a lot of young men, a lot of young women, returning citizens coming home from prison on parole supervision, probation supervision, under drug court supervision. So we have a host of services that we plug them into to get them successfully reintegrated back into society and with their family.
And you and I have a very unique history, coming from 2 separate political worlds, coming a white Italian from Bergen County, coming into a minority community to help me integrate really well. I started off at Eastside High School with Joe Clark, in a summer job. Anybody that watched the movie Lean on Me, I started off over there and learned a lot. Yeah, and honestly, I attribute you, Joe, to helping me to where I am today. And I'm going to sandbag you with these two binders here. You wrote letters to the governor back in 2000 about me. And they trickled down from the state of New Jersey, from the governor's office, what you said about me at committee. And I'm going to read them on air. And I'm
Really?
talking about things you said. Yeah, I'm going to read them.
And what year was that?
This was published in 2001, so I guess I'll put the date on. I think 2000 you wrote these letters to committee about what I was doing. You and Roper Brown from the UMDNJ, University of Medical and Dentistry. Both
My
of you guys
sister.
wrote letters. Yeah, you guys wrote letters, and it was very impactful to me. And I like the fact that I found it today because you were coming on, and I remembered I had this package, and I reread it, and I said, wow, did you call it right about me then? And did you set me in the direction for my life? And that's why I want to read it at some point. Anything else you want to add in your little bio before we go on to Jose?
No, I'm good.
All right, Jose, the floor is yours. Take it on for a few minutes, 30 seconds to a minute.
Jose Landestoya, immigration activist, father of two, married and working hard on our communities that have been impoverished and that are fighting an obstacle today. They're facing the separations of their families and other things that are targeting them, and working with impoverished communities in the Dominican Republic and in parts of Haiti, just carrying out the work and trying to help those that haven't been blessed with the same opportunity we were. So it's great to be on the show, and it's great to be here.
Wonderful,
Welcome.
wonderful. And I applaud both of you. We spent several hours on the phone today discussing some cases, and I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. You know, I have some good announcements for you guys, too, that I did make some calls after to help you out. Gentlemen, it is an honor to welcome both of you here to the Hostile Zone. I'm not sure if you're both aware. Hostile Zone is syndicated across the entire nation, available in 57 countries. We are a live TV radio show, and we are available for download everywhere, usually about 30 minutes after the show airs. I also am the host of Eric A. Cinotti Unplugged, and I am now also the host of Eric A. Cinotti The National Report, where I give basic news brief 30 minutes every day. So I have 3 different shows. This is one. This is the flagship. You guys are welcome on the other ones, but I welcome you here. But America needs to hear from your voices tonight. They do. I know this because, Joe, you made a difference in so many lives. You made a difference in my, obviously you're a little older than me. I was a young kid who was pretty crazy that young to be in that pretty much of a powerful position. I pushed through the political system hard. Everyone was double my age, right? So, and I had power.
You calmed down good, man. You matured well.
Thank you.
Very well.
I guess the statement was I was full of piss and vinegar. That's what they kept telling me all the time. I went in there, I wanted to change the world. And I was like, I guess the favorite thing, I guess I'll say, Ms. Bianca, you remember, what was it? South Park. You must respect my authority. I went in there and I knocked that gavel down. How many times, right?
Yeah.
I made people really upset. Yeah, for the good cause, though. And you had my back all along. Even when people didn't go against you, you stood up for me because I stood up for my principles, and that's what was great.
Listen, children and the parents, the families that we were servicing, didn't deserve anything less than somebody to fight for their rights.
And he was in the community program, and I was the government, criminal justice, juvenile justice,
all of it.
powerful person that was overseeing this stuff. At one point, we had 350 open cases, and we pushed that down. What was that place we used to go to lunch to all the time with the great buffet on Clifton Ave, I think? Remember that place? I still think about that place today.
Passengers.
Oh, my God. What a meal. What a meal. We got to get up to P-Town again. Now, for the folks out there, you don't know Paris, it's Chianti Street, right? Chianti. Like my name should be Cinotti. But I love it. We do have a little Italian section in Patterson still, where the the cappuccino. Some famous people came through there a couple times. I remember having an espresso one time, and some high-ranking people of other organizations were there. We all look at each other because I'm on the government side, and otherwise, and people are like, maybe it's a good idea you go. I'm like, all right, I'll leave.
Nothing.
Yeah. Hey, right, Brett? I have a very short-term memory. I forget things very quickly. Right. So we're going to get it. There's segments, a question each. We're going to talk about it. Segment 1 is going to be about faith-based, environmental, and social justice. All right. Basically, I'm going to address the question to Joe, but it's going to be for both of you guys, unless I have something very specific. Joe, how do you see churches and faith-based organizations leading the charge in environmental stewardship and justice?
Well, if you check the scriptures will tell you that we as God's creation are supposed to be keepers of the land, of the earth. And we're not doing a good job at all. So
No, we're not.
we're failing.
Right.
And so one of the things that I looked at was people that were getting locked up. They were going to jail, doing their time, coming out, put on parole or probation or either under drug court supervision.
Set up for failure, returning right to the community that very much got them where they were.
Right. But here's the kicker though. Even coming back to the community to where their ills began, coming back with the right support system to prevent them from being entangled again.
Right.
But then when you have officers who are a little cocky with their authority, shows up on his or her job, gets him or her fired, now they can't, their livelihood, they can't pay for their room and board, they can't pay for their meals. So now what do? They revert back to surviving the best way they know how. Right. There's no right way to do wrong.
No.
But
you got to do something. You got to do something.
But when you force somebody that has nothing to come up with something, you know, they're going to try to find some kind of way, and that causes other people to become victims. That causes people to become perpetrators. And so, you know, we address the whole person, not just part of the person.
Now, you know, Joe, there was a case when I first got in there that I worked on, and you know this case because you and I talked pastorally on this one too. That affected me personally. That still to this day, years later, I'm going to talk about this case. I can't say her name because it was juvenile. I investigated. I worked on it. And then you actually counseled me personally on it because I couldn't let people in the office know it affected me. The girl that threw her baby off of the falls into the river because she couldn't find a baby. Don't say the name. Yes. Remember that?
Remember that?
That was my first major crimes case. And we were going to waiver her to adult. I was out there when it happened. I worked that whole case. Your tutelage and your support was key, but I still go to bed sometimes and I remember that case today. Now, we had a lot of cases, but that was one that I'll never forget to this day because she couldn't find a babysitter to go on a date with a boy. She threw her baby off the falls in Patterson.
What?
Yeah.
Being a mother, I can't imagine.
Yeah,
I'm like,
wow. And you know, I worked on it. I had to investigate. I had to interview. I was out there at the scene. You know, and subsequently, if she came back from it, juveniles aren't incarcerated, right? So she was in a facility, for lack of better terms, right? In New Jersey, folks, just so you understand out there, if you're listening or watching, in the state of New Jersey, juveniles do not commit crimes, okay? Juveniles are committing delinquent acts, okay, under New Jersey state statute, New Jersey state statute annotated. Also, if juveniles are not convicted of crimes, they're not convicted of delinquent acts, they are adjudicated to be a delinquent. Very key purpose to recognize that. But this particular case, after she was adjudicated delinquent, and I was I was part of the committee that was going to decide if we were going to waiver her to adult court, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And it was a tough decision on my vote on that. And I'm going to leave my vote to myself. You know what my vote was. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately, years later, you and I served on the aftercare parole board, right? And she came before us. Mm-hmm. I had to vote again to decide if we were going to let her out early and what we were going to do. Still think about that one today, man. Yeah, I just had to hit that touching moment. That's pretty interesting. But I want to thank you again here today because you were inspirational to me because so many people were chopping at me because of my position and how much power I had and what I could do. People wanted to cut me down, right? You know that. So I couldn't tell them that this was difficult for me. I couldn't tell them when I made a mistake. I had very limited people I could trust, and you were one of them.
Amen.
So I want to say that on here today because I think the folks that know about the program you're involved now need to know that I was young and you changed my life and helped me. So I'm glad to see you're still going. And I want to say that today for you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. When you're driving in the car and you look behind you and you see them red lights, what are you going to need? You need a attorney shield on your phone. When we come back, I'm going to tell you how you can do that. Eric A. Cinotti, The Hostile Zone, iHeart. Don't go anywhere.
At the Rembrandt Law Firm, we understand the importance of your constitutional rights. We truly care that we must get a client their desired result. If your freedom is compromised in any way, you call us. We do immigration, state and federal criminal defense, personal injury, bankruptcy, DWIs, family law, real estate law. We want you to be confident in our ability to represent you.
Attorney Shield has your back. At the end of this episode, you'll have a description and location to go. You put in promo code Eric, we will get you 20% off of your membership to Legal Shield, which will guarantee you legal representation within 15 to 30 seconds of pushing the button on your phone for any encounter with law enforcement or the government, unlimited per month. You can do a month plan, a yearly plan, or a family plan.
That's amazing.
It is. And it really works. Check them out on YouTube. You'll see some videos of interactions where the situation changed between law enforcement and one of our members. So, Attorney Shield, welcome back. Eric A. Cinotti and Miss Bianca C. like the ocean right here on the Hostile Zone. We were talking about driving in the car. All of a sudden, them big old red lights pop on behind you. Everybody gets scared.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
Don't be scared. You know why? Attorney Shield has your back. All right, folks, check it out. All right, so we're back. Follow up now on that question. Jose, what's your thought on that question?
Well, looking at the church's response to the situation.
Reverend Joe and Reverend Jose, Miss Bianca's got a follow-up question for you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, why do faith communities have such a unique ability to bring healing and hope to the neighborhoods in need?
Well, number one, the church is a pillar of communities. It's always been a refuge, a place of resource, and so we can count on the church to bring forth that counseling, that healing, that nurturing, and that support. I think the churches have more than an obligation just for preaching and singing and
Right.
shouting. There's other things that have to be addressed in a holistic manner other than just religious services.
Jose, anything on that?
Yes,
You want to add to it?
Absolutely. The church is a pillar to healing and to bringing the community together. And it's basically because the church has been there before. And mostly a lot of people within the church, you guys as well, we all face hard times. And the Bible tells us that those hard times are to give us the experience and the testimony to help others who go through the same thing.
Right.
And the church is a healing service for the community. We all been broken and we were all put together by the hand of God. And we share that with the communities, helping them rebuild and be healed once again.
Oh, that's great. My next question to you guys is a very Rev. Okay, Rev came off the screen. He's back in. It's like an all-encompassing question a little bit, so feel free to take it however you want. You guys have built programs for returning citizens from incarceration, from drug rehabilitation, from all types of situations. You've worked with veterans. You help young people. But what kind of impact do you think that provided training in renewable energy and restoration is important, and how are we going to tie that in with legal service and support?
Well, for the model that we stood up in Charlotte, North Carolina, we had a partnership agreement with the Charlotte Mecklenburg Superior Court, where they were referring people who were caught in drug infractions, violent weapons. They sent them to us for community service. And so I told the administrators of the courts, I said, listen, we're here to provide a service to the community, but we're not going to just be a community service site where people come. We put a paintbrush in their hand, we put a boom or a mop, and say, here, clean up.
Yeah.
I said, our ministry would be a referral center only on the grounds of if you allow us to train them and certify them employment capacity, whether that's they start their own business or whether they get hired somewhere. But we're not going to have people just come here to clean our sites. I got ministerial staff that get paid to clean the bathroom, vacuum the floors. So the administrator was like, you would really do that? I said, no, we have an obligation as a ministry to do that. And I said, so, and that's how we signed our contract. And then from there, we had some people in the renewable energy industry with Comfort Partners who were going around changing light bulbs and window seals for weatherization. So I plugged these people that were coming through community service into those training components, got them certified, then got them employed. Then our ministry started a solid waste recycling program where we were a vendor for Sunoco Recycling Center. So we made our money through processing tons of commingled plastics, aluminums, and clothing. So we would sort that material, and that material could be remanufactured, recycled, repurposed, reused.
Right.
And so, and through that, we generated our revenues to create our payrolls. And so we had 15 formerly incarcerated people on our payroll as our labor crew that were trained and supervised, certified as solid waste handlers.
I think
And
that's great.
so,
Your role, you're giving it, you're teaching them a trade, you're giving them a responsibility. You're not vilifying them for having a criminal record. You're giving them a fresh start, and you're helping people along the way.
and
What
helping them help themselves and help them families.
what is the thing? Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime, right?
Exactly.
Any follow up on
Exactly.
that? Okay.
Yeah, I think renewable
Bring the legal aspect into it as well.
I think renewable energy is very important, specifically for people being released from prisons. A lot of them never were able to work prior to their prison release. So it's very important to get them into jobs that are going to be available tomorrow. And I'll bring one aspect. If you look at the solar panel industry, a lot of companies are looking for people to work for them and to relocate. And
Yeah, I
this
see that. Yeah, I do. I see those ads every day.
and this helps those guys that are coming home from prison
And they pay well, from what
relocate
I understand, right?
relocate Eric out of the communities where they committed the
Where they got into
situation and where
trouble.
the temptation is,
Yep.
and go to a new community like North
Mhm.
Carolina, West Virginia, and get to see the world and say, you know what, there's better out here. I don't
And
have
it's
to
a
go
Mhm.
true
back
fresh
to China.
start, right? Right, Jose? A true fresh
Exactly.
start. Yeah.
Absolutely a fresh start, and it gives them an opportunity to be part of the future. And I think renewable energy is something that a lot of release programs should look at because it gives them a trade that they'll be able to practice somewhere outside of the community where
I love it.
they
I love
they
it.
committed their mistakes.
I love
And
it.
then the other thing to support that is not only if you train and certify an individual in the renewable energy space, he or she doesn't have to necessarily go looking for a job. They can start their own legitimate LLC and create jobs.
Mhm.
Right. And they become a job creator. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay. Can you share one story of someone whose life was truly changed through this opportunity?
And this guy
Yeah.
gets thinking it could be anything over your history of
Yeah.
things you're doing, Joe.
I got 10 individuals off the top of my mind. I can give you their names and their phone numbers who are graduates from our cohorts.
Any in North
They're
Carolina right now?
all 15 of them are in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina,
Yeah,
and
figure it
throughout
out.
North Carolina.
And we can send them off if they, people need help. I know that our team's always looking for stuff too.
Yeah, and there's a video with I think the first cohort, all of the cohort members through the first cycle of the Green Skills training. All of them gave their testimony on
Have
what
that
they were
video?
like.
Share it. You have
I
it.
sent it. I sent it to you.
All right. If somebody has it, send it over, and when it's available, let's pop it up on the screen and take a look at it.
Yeah, I sent that to you, Eric. I believe
Me?
that was like the beginning of this year when we
All right. I'm
reconnected.
gonna pull it up right now while you guys keep talking. Bianca got some other questions for you
Yeah.
anyway. Bianca wants a sandbag, and she's been looking forward to it all day. So
Oh, I just want to know how was he when on the downtimes?
Huh?
How was
you want to
Eric
know about me and
back
working there?
then on his downtimes?
Yeah.
He was just like he is. He's never changed.
Oh,
I would say this: he's older now, so he's a lot more quieter, a lot more slower.
Really?
When he, yeah,
Now, I gotta tell you, Joe. I don't think. Is this the video? Let me see. I have the flyer. I don't have the video. I have all these documents, but I don't have the video on my phone. Can you send it over somehow while we're moving? I would like to share it. I really would.
hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
And let's keep talking. What?
Yeah, and I think just sharing one of the brothers that we were able to help from Colombia, migrant from Colombia that was able to obtain his work status. He actually works in the solar panel industry. He's been traveling all over the United States. I believe he's at 20 states now
Right.
since his entry. And he's actually been a big advocate for us, promoting to the other communities and people with their work permits saying, hey, come out here, join this, renewable energy department, and you always have work. And one thing that he shares is he's very grateful of it because it takes away from harming the environment, and it gives his kids a chance, maybe 10, 15, 50 years down the line, to have the same communities and the same spaces that we have today. So I think it's a great opportunity.
And how long did that take to get in order?
He's been in the United States about 2 years. We've been helping him for about a year and a half. And it took us about 8 months to get him work authorization. And after that, he was able to begin working and travel all over the country. And I think that's one of the biggest things, getting people the opportunity to be a part of the future and of changing the things that today are worries and fears for them all.
You know what the problem is, Jose, is the sad part about the criminal justice system is the whole point we are supposed to be. We're be a first world country. 1 out of 3 people have an arrest record in America. 1 out of 3. So you can't go anywhere without sitting down next to somebody that hasn't been arrested. We have the highest prison population in the world. Then
I couldn't find it.
Oh, damn, too bad. It's not in my messages. Is it somewhere? Tell them, type it in the chat, and I'll have my people hunt it down online while we're talking.
They can pull it up on YouTube.
All right, what is it called? Tell them what to look for.
PPR Forever Green.
Forever Green.
Right? Just pull that up on YouTube.
All right. So what I was going to say,
or you can do
Jose,
PPR Forever Green Skills.
as he put up on the screen, there it is.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be a rehabilitative system, not technically a penile system. Penalty, it's rehabilitative. But then you send somebody back home and they got a criminal record, one thing in itself, which probably does a huge disinjustice, disenfranchisement. But then now with the internet and media, very people are stigmatized automatically, and they almost never get that second.
Well, that's due to the collateral damage.
Right.
That's collateral damage. You know,
you got to get expungement clinics up. We got to reach out to the government.
That's what we're offering through our legal clinics.
And that's what
not only the immigration services, the expungements, and a whole lot of other things.
Everybody should be entitled to an expungement. I would say even 2.
You know,
after a period of time.
Listen, Passaic County, Passaic County was the first city and county in the state of New Jersey that allowed people coming home from state and federal prison to receive public assistance.
I remember because we actually,
and that's through my leg, right? And that's through me. I pushed that issue.
Yep. You and I pushed it. I interviewed a few of them for clerical positions.
Exactly.
2 of which are still successful today, and they were actually very, very good employees.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good.
And then several of them went on to start their own businesses. I can't say their names, but
don't say names. Don't say names. Yeah.
But I'll say the agency they came from. They came from CART, County Assessment Resource Team.
That's right.
They came through Kayak, the Children's Interagency Coordinating Council. So several of those cases, those juveniles that were written off, that were sent to our ministry for services, they're business owners today. Not only are they business, not only are they business owners, but several of them are teachers on the Patterson School District, right here in the city of Patterson.
Joe, awesome. At the end, not here. I would love to talk to a few because I was the person at the county that forced them to make sure they went to programs like you instead of incarceration.
They would love to talk to
you. I would love to talk to them, honestly. I would.
Amen.
She said she can't find it. Hey, while you're sitting there, Jose, you seem to be inclined. See if you can find that video for him.
Okay.
What kind of investigation experiences did you guys have together, you and Eric?
Oh,
say that again?
She wants to know about what kind of investigator I was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
was I cocky with a badge, or was I a gentleman? Was I tough?
No, you were always a gentleman, but always very firm. And I think I was a help to Eric in his smoothing, because he used to be very rough and edgy. And I say to him, I used to say to him, bro, listen, I know you mean well, but why don't you try to taper that down a little bit?
At the lunch place, he was telling me.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll pull you to the side by yourself. And bro, you need to taper that down, because you hit it for their good, but in your tone and your delivery, you make them feel that you're not with them, So, but he's come a long way.
You know what's funny? I
along.
don't want to say the name of this individual politically, but when I got appointed into that position, pretty amazing to be at that age and in that slot, to be investigation and to be in charge of that division. I was in charge of the division. We had 300 and some odd cases.
Right.
Remember what did somebody say? We want to stay below the radar. You know who I'm talking about. Because I was clearing cases. We had court every Wednesday, and I was up in 10 or 15 cases every Wednesday. Where they were doing, we were 300 cases in the rears, right? That were sitting pending cases, no work. I came in and I started clearing it out.
Yeah, no, you did. You did.
We stay under the radar, and I said that's not good government.
Mm-hmm.
I pushed back and I paid penalties for it from other people. But you know what?
But look at the lives that were impacted positively because you pushed back. You might have got some negative results from it, but you did what was right for the people.
Right. If I had to lay the swift hand of justice down, I did. Obviously, I tried to do it with discretion and compassion.
Amen.
I didn't want to see people have to go in handcuffs, but we did it. You know? And I felt bad walking out with some of these people in cuffs at certain times, but it had to happen.
It had to happen. Listen, I used to tell my clients, I used to have one of my brothers, he's home now, thank God, and he's reestablished his life. But he's been home, I think, I want to say 3 years, and no infractions with the law enforcement. But prior to that, to him coming home, his last time going away was because of me, truly. He was in my program, court ordered, and didn't do what he was supposed to do, and I violated him.
I know there was juveniles in your program on the evenings, and I didn't have to do this. I had people underneath me, but I would call you and say, I'm going to show up and do a raid, and we're going to check.
Yeah.
If these kids were there. And 99% of the time, and I know you didn't tip them off, but I didn't want you to feel sandbagged. They were there most of the time, right?
Listen,
right?
because they knew if I showed up, not you, if I showed up and they weren't there, they had a problem.
And they knew you'd call me. Yeah, they'd be like,
exactly. Listen, not only you. I had somewhere I called the judge directly and said, "Look, send."
Hold on. I love this guy. Retired. We were really good friends. Judge, it was not Judge Diamond. He was one of them.
Joseph Revere.
No, there was I used to walk in with him through the back too. And then it'll come to me in a minute.
Right. That's the one who assigned me to cart and kayak.
Because I became a professor, as you know, and I had students there, and I had such a good relationship in the court that I would walk in the court with my students would be in the watching session, and I would be in the judge's chamber and walk out with him with the robe right out in the back with him. And the students thought it was awesome.
Amen.
He was one of the finest. A great judge. Did you get your answer? So no, I was not. I did not. I wasn't running around flashing badges. I had to. I mean,
yeah, he wasn't wild.
I did rock. I did like wearing it. I had my nice suit, my big star lapel pin, and all my ID and stuff, and my government car and all the fancy. It was great. Yeah, but I think I treated people well. But you did, Joe. You really did help me out a lot. You really did.
Amen.
It was tough.
Thank you.
A lot of power to be given in that period of time, and it was tough.
But on your behalf, you were learnable. You were teachable.
According to you, some people didn't think so.
Well, to me, I never had any problem with you. We got along well.
And then I promoted to the commissioner's office, if you remember. Then we really made people upset. I had real power. In fact, that ultimate commissioner at the time, when he was out of town, I was acting commissioner, and we know who he was. He wasn't there a lot. And the buck stopped it with me with a lot of people. We don't want to name names, but a lot of people had some bad time through the system. Government people and law enforcement members and all the agencies that answer up to the higher cause. It was a great job, though. It's not a boastful moment. I'm actually just enjoying the moment with you here.
Amen. Amen.
So we're going to go into the next segment. We're going to talk a little bit about affordable, supportive housing. And I want to incorporate the whole concept, including your legal stuff, because that's very important. All these issues are important to me, and because we know each other so long, you know that what I say here, I mean. Housing is one of America's greatest crises. It really is. Your reentry and recovery housing, which you've had for years, I can attest. Some great stuff. In some of the worst communities, but you had the nicest. And there's some videos, by the way, I want to tell you at the prosecutor's office. I made
Really?
one videos when you guys were revamping a home in Patterson that was going to be used for reentry. I just saw the video recently on
Get out of here.
prosecutor's page. Yeah.
What? Wow.
And yeah, I don't want to say names, but it was pretty funny. I'm like, oh my God, I was there. Yeah. So anyway, and it's terrible communities, but you built these and they were nice. And I was out there for the ribbon cutting on these things. Recovery, housing, combined stability and sustainability, the whole package, with your holistic support. Why does this approach? It's a stupid question almost, but I want you to say, why does this approach really work so successfully?
Well, number one, when you operate from a faith-based, not a religious perspective, but from a
Right.
faith-based, everybody has faith. Everybody believes in something.
Right.
You understand? So work with people and they allow you in their world of realities. You get to understand them as a person, as a people, and you understand why they do what they do based off their belief system,
Right.
be it valid or invalid. You understand that individual. So with us being able to provide the housing services, the employment services, and the substance abuse and the mental health services, we were able to peel the onions back, if you will, and get down to the meat and potatoes of why people
I
do
want
what
to
they
add a
do.
caveat to that, Joe, because it's something that really emboldens me and it makes me sad and it really bothered me. And it's something that you helped out a lot with. Disappearing fathers.
Mm-hmm.
There was no male leadership for these people.
Well, there is.
Provided that, you know?
Yeah, there is. I don't know how readily available it is, but I know I made it available through our outlets.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, we brought the first fathers program to New Jersey, to the state of New Jersey, under the faith-based umbrella.
Yeah, I want to say that was after George W. Bush won the election and he authorized federal funds to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking. Remember we talked about it. As soon as he signed that, I was like, we're reaching for that money.
Yeah,
and I had to sit down
and we got funded and we got contracted to
I think he
deliver
called
the
it
service.
faith-based initiative. It was faith-based.
Exactly, that's what it was. Fatherhood Initiative was under the faith-based initiative.
And I could say it now because it's years later. But I volunteered as a mentor, and I wasn't allowed to because of my position, but I did it anyway. I didn't really care. I didn't get paid, and I served, and I still talk. And we had one on the show that accidentally popped out of nowhere, and he was commenting on social media about the most influential person in his life, and it was me. And he reached out to me, and he's on Wall Street now, and he's been on the show. And I saw the comment he had mentioned it on. We were not connected on social media. It came to me because he mentioned my name publicly everywhere.
Amen.
And, I shouldn't have been mentoring him because technically it's what I guess they would call a conflict of interest.
They called it conflict of interest.
They wanted anything to take me out because I bucked the system. Remember, we stay under the radar here, and I was like, no, we give good government service. We are for the people.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you now, I love mentoring. I loved it.
Amen.
So, do you have any add in on that, Jose?
I think the Fathers Initiative is a big important part. Just looking at the prison system, where out of 100 people involved or detained or in prison, 60 don't have a father figure. It's a big problem. Right. And I think faith-based groups and mentoring is extremely important for the young community. Why? Because they'll be the fathers of tomorrow. So if we don't show them what it means to be a father today, they won't know, and they won't be there. So I think programs like the ones Reb mentioned and the ones you mentioned were so important, especially in the community of Patterson, Passaic, and communities in New Jersey, where a lot of fathers are in prison, and they're in prison with their children. And
you know what, Tony? I want to say something. I served on a committee, and you'll remember, Reb. I was the chairman of this committee. It was called Invisible Children. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Years ago.
That were invisible to the system because they were not involved in criminal justice. They were not involved in any social service needs, but their children, their mothers or fathers were incarcerated or in some sort of thing. And we created
treatment
it.
center.
They shut me down on it. We had the committee for a while and they didn't like it because I was trying to yank funding for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I also started the Special Commission for Children as well, if you recall. I was pushing hard on a lot of stuff.
And as you just mentioned, they yanked the funding for it, but if it would have ran, we probably would have other people on Wall Street that probably you and Reb would have affected.
Well,
so
I was Why don't
programs
we
work.
say it here, loud and here? Let's do it. Let's try to start something like that. Let's do
That
it.
would be awesome.
Let's reunite a committee and make that happen. I like it.
Well, listen, we got the model. All we need is funding and staffing.
And I remember about that because I was getting my master's degree in public administration. So I used that for school, and I wrote the mission and vision statement for Invisible Children. I bet you can find that somewhere.
Yeah,
There's a difference between a mission and a vision. The mission is what we're doing. Our vision is where we intend to be.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was great stuff. I think we should resurrect that. I think we should say it right here and now. Are you with me? Let's try to.
I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Let's reach out to who we need to talk to and get this started. There's some funding out there. There's always funding, right? We can find something. I think that would make a big difference. It really would. What say you? And then
I agree. I think we can help a lot of fathers, and we can teach the kids of tomorrow on how to be great fathers.
Right.
And I think in the communities that we're speaking of in New Jersey, we'll be very successful. Remember, these are kids that are willing to listen. And if they have someone that can stand in and be a father figure and show them what it means to be a father, tomorrow they can raise the future kids that will lead this program for other generations.
That's right.
I agree. I agree
too. We need that.
Yeah, I think that makes a huge difference. I think we don't want to make the mistakes of our fathers, right? There's a song out there that I like a lot. It's a little different. What's that? The song, and it has a line. It talks about the war of our fathers, and it's about a guy talking about that. I don't want my son to have the wars that I've dealt with. And me being a military guy and having been deployed several times and done stuff, I wouldn't want my child to be in that. And I think it's the same kind of concept. And if you're with that, we're going to take a short station break. Eric A. Cinotti, the Hostile Zone. Check out Attorney Shield. When the red lights are behind you, we got your back. If you are in inner city New Jersey and you need legal assistance, Joe Robinson got you. Eric A. Cinotti. Attorney Shield has your back. At the end of this episode, you'll have a description and location to go. You put in promo code Eric. We will get you 20% off of your membership to Legal Shield, which will guarantee you legal representation within 15 to 30 seconds of pushing the button on your phone for any encounter with law enforcement or the government, unlimited per month. You can do a month plan, a yearly plan, or a family plan.
That's amazing.
It is. And it really works. Check them out on YouTube. You'll see some videos of interactions where the situation changed between law enforcement and one of our members. So, Attorney Shield. Eric A. Cinotti, Miss Bianca C. right here on the Hostile Zone, on your iHeart dial, on your FM dial, and on your KB cable TV. And if it's not, demand it. We're back here with two powerhouses. Miss Bianca is going to have a follow-up question to Reverend Joseph T. Robinson.
Yes, since I know that you guys knew each other for a while.
Oh, another sandbag question.
I want to know, during the investigations, did he ever take you for a ride along? And if so, were there any interesting stories you have in mind?
No, I didn't go for any of the ride around with the investigations. I just hung out with him on his free time.
Oh, and what did you guys do in the free time?
Just riding. Like he wanted to flash his lights and rev the engine.
I got into the lights. I did. But I got in trouble for it. That's on the record. I would be late to work and pop the lights on and siren to blow through red lights and stuff. It was back in the day. It was fun.
You said leave early, man.
I wasn't a road pirate by any means or anything like that. I never took you out for you. Didn't I drive us to lunch or something? No, I know I took Roper out several times.
You took Roper, and I think Ken Lawrence.
We had some good times right there.
Our social worker. Yeah.
And I took a few people from FIS, Family Intervention Service, out. Yeah, we had good times, man. Started a great career, man, and here we are today. Matter of fact, I'm going to sandbag you right now. I have with me some files. The case file names are off of them, but these were used
that looked like a carton logo.
These were actually used for university purposes. I had to delete case names and stuff, but I was providing portfolio assessment of what I actually did. And you and several other people wrote letters to the governor with regards to me. And you don't know that I have access because they would trickle down to me. And I'm going to read two of them on the air right now that you wrote. I'm going to leave out some incidental information, but it's a trigger your mind because you wrote it. And I'll hold it up too so you know it's yours. Okay, ready? To the governor's
They
office.
say,
I, Reverend Joe T. Robinson Jr., have been a social service provider to youth and families for the past several years and to the present. I have been honored to be a team member of the Passaic County Case Assessment Resource Team and have in fact served as chairman. I would like to acknowledge the effectiveness of the CART professional staff. I would like to thank Eric A. Cinotti, he wrote this to the governor and it came down to me, for his dynamic efforts that has been working hard in displaying by moving forward juvenile and family cases in the directions to receive the much needed resources such as treatment, educational support, safe living conditions, companionship services like the Father Program, and a host of other services in an avoidance for juvenile justice incarceration, for lack of a better term.
Amen.
Mr. Cinotti and his team underneath him, I like that, and his team underneath him have really worked hard to bring it. I like that you put them in a little bit because I did make them work hard to bring the Passaic County caseload down. And you enunciated, you marked it down. You said the caseload of initial intakes into the juvenile system were cut in half. You said the 120-day reports were down by 40%. And you said CFTs, Child Family Team investigations, were 100% up to date. There is a strong commitment at the forefront of Mr. Cinotti's responsibility. This young man, and I was very young, has proven to go beyond the call of duty. And I've been present with him in court and in CART and in several locations between normal working hours and the many extended hours that I know he worked outside of the bounds he was required to develop plans to ensure that our youth and families were treated responsibly. Mr. Cinotti has given himself to make sure that these cases move in the right direction and cut red tape and bureaucracy to protect families while protecting taxpaying dollars.
How long ago was that?
I'm going to date, I'll tell you. I'll give you the exact date. I got the letter right here. And he went on further. You said Mr. Cinotti has developed an accelerated pace over the past several months of his working relationship, now capacity as the new, like basically the leader. I don't want to name exact, but you know what it is. I took over him in charge.
The administrator.
And you thanked him for allowing me to be appointed to that. You said leadership is his strongest quality. It has been a great blessing to have him as such a great asset who was able to assume command upon the levels of responsibilities far among any other could be required, and he stood full attention. His efficiency put Passaic County at the forefront of receiving the services they need. You dated that 2/23/01, 2001. It's September 23, 2001, and here is the letter. Wow. I also have a second one that came from University of Medical and Dentistry, the state school, which they changed the name since then, from somebody you know, Roper Brown, who unfortunately passed away. He wrote a letter to the governor, and he articulated how I saved the taxpayer. He wrote to the governor, this is to inform you, Mr. Governor, that I have been part of the CART for more than a year now as a member. And he indicated the agency is with. And he said for about 3 years prior to that, he worked with Reverend Robinson. I would like to take this time to say thank you for appointing and bringing a young man with energy, Eric A. Cinotti, into this position. Ever since he's been in this position, I've seen a tremendous change in the way information for our families, our youth, and juvenile justice has been handled and is given on time, and his ability to explain information far beyond others to not only professional staff, other law enforcement administrators, but also directly to families and juveniles. He has been a great asset to myself and many others. I speak for many. Eric has, in my opinion, have worked to change the policies and procedures as I understand them, and to inform the members that they are not following them, and he is not afraid to set them straight, which helps us stay tuned with what is going on in government. And it is is requesting upon our organization. He has guided me with the specifics of my contract that I'm required to follow. And Eric has even made the transition from the previous person who was politically appointed and removed and I've replaced, I won't say that person's name, to himself almost unnoticeable, except for the fact that he's a young man and he is not afraid to say what he means and means what he says, and he stands up for the people. Again, Mr. Governor, I thank you. And then you said, my program has submitted a new agreement to the county, and speaking with Eric and also serving on these committees, I understand the financial position that the government is in, and I understand the fiscal responsibility of Eric and also his capacities in investigation as well. He has a dual role, and how that affects our organization and our ability to deliver services to Passaic County. Eric explained the long-term goals and objectives and convinced me that it was better for me at the University of Medical and Dentistry to reduce their rate and charge to the county of Passaic. I got him to, I didn't even know he told anybody. I mean, I know this happened, but we sat down and I got him to cut the price so the money would go back to the kids. He goes on further.
You heard what I said?
What's that?
He asked me.
I didn't know. I'm only knowing all this. I didn't even see this at the time.
And I approved it.
And I said to him, I remember the conversation. I said, I feel bad, but the tax is tough and people don't want to, and it's tough and we're losing money and we want to service people. Eric explained the long-term goals objective and convinced me that it was the right choice to reduce our price. With that self indicates that he has the county of Passaic at his best interest at hand. And we stand with him. Youth, juveniles, and families are better for it. Although we are willing to decrease our rate and have agreed to, we are not looking for any more clients or any more services to quantify that loss. So you didn't ask for anything to quantify. So you really did take the loss.
No, we did.
Really make a difference. Eric is a great asset to the county, and because of this young and energetic man willing to learn new things, it pertains that our youth and families and juveniles in Passaic County are better for it. That one was dated April of 2001. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
No, thank you for calling that out. Our resident technician is Generation Z. She's like, I wasn't even born yet. Thank you. Instead of saying, wow. Now, the reason I read them is because you didn't know I ever saw them, number one.
No, I didn't. I never said anything to you about it.
And they forwarded them down to me. And I didn't tell you that I negotiated. You didn't know. We didn't discuss the pricing. I went in there respectfully, and I said, this is the best way to do the cases. But I wanted to read that because it trickled down to me from the governor's office. You said both of you guys said nice things. Here I am today, a better man.
Well, they were factual, though.
It's factual, and I believe I'm still practicing that philosophy today. I do.
Amen.
Amen. So you wanted to cut me off a minute ago. What did you want to say?
No, I was just gonna say, it was my decision against the board of directors to lower our hourly rate, and we were the lowest charging agency providing services to the most difficult cases that everybody else bombed out.
So many people, and there were people, and we can say it now without names, there were people in elected and other appointed positions that didn't like that I was young as I was in that kind of position and had the ability to do that. And I had the reach of the governor to help and other key people, but they actually wanted to see me fail.
Yeah, and listen,
I don't get it. Why do this job? Why get in there?
They didn't want to refer clients to us.
So, but I'm glad it worked, and I wanted to read that because I read it again today before this interview. Literally today. It's been a long time. It was this. I used this for university purposes when I was doing my project for my master of public administration.
About that letter. Wow.
Now the other one came from the University of Medical and Dentistry in Newark, but they changed the name of that university now. What is it? University.
It's Rutgers. It's Rutgers University, baby.
Yeah, which is a state entity, which is interesting because people don't understand how do you negotiate rates between government and government, but you did it, and it was tough, but I did it, and I'm happy for it. And the reason I read it is because you were instrumental in that, and I looked at it and I read this. Wow, I still am practicing some of the philosophies and acting some of the ways that I did then, the positive ones.
Amen.
Well, I wanted to say a question about what's in my notes at the moment.
Anything you want, go for it.
What partnerships are helping make these housing solutions real and lasting for families?
Well, the housing, we had to apply to become a state certified CHODO. A CHODO is a community housing development organization and only can be designated to a non-profit,
501c3.
for-profit company.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And that is a feat
for-profit
in itself
can't
with
can't do that.
all the red tape and bureaucratic BS you got to go through to get all the variances and ordinances and stuff to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
hats off to you for making that happen.
became the first black-owned, black-operated nonprofit Chodo in Passaic County, the state of New Jersey. And then after that, I helped several others become Chodo.
You were instrumental in that.
Yeah. And we also bought 6 pieces of property through the city auction. We built 4 two-family homes.
This might have been the one where I was out there when you were opening it, and I'm in the paper and the picture out there. Yeah.
And we donated. One of the lots was too small for a home, so we turned it into a community garden.
I remember a park, yeah. And the kids went in there and they were doing vegetables and stuff too. I remember.
Exactly.
If I recall, I was putting it to the court to send juveniles there for community service. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we started the car wash and the car detailing.
I remember that. I brought my car.
And we sent them there for training.
I paid.
Yeah. And we sent the kids through the car wash for job creation. And then some of them took it real serious and wanted to learn how to do body repair.
I remember.
And so
you
my brother
contracted
taught
with
them how
somebody to do that, right?
Huh?
The body shop you got to sign up.
Right, yeah.
What was that body shop name? I
my
remember.
brother.
What was the name of the body shop again?
Jay's.
I remember because we had to go through a bureaucratic nightmare to get that signed. I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we
got
it done. We did a lot of innovation in Patterson, Passaic County.
Did you travel with me out of state a few times when I forced the state to go check in on, because we were sending juveniles out of state at one point.
Yeah. We went to Pennsylvania.
We went to Pennsylvania.
We went to Washington,
people
D.C.
in the whole ride to other people that didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
That's what the state was doing. They were sending our kids, our juveniles.
We went
to Virginia.
We went to Pennsylvania.
I went on a plane and brought them back.
Several parts of Pennsylvania. Yep. Allentown. I mean, we went all over the place.
I'll give you one thing we did wrong that was fun, because it was my thing to always do. I was all about stopping for a good lunch, and I would burn that clock up, baby. Right? We're stopping for one. And you know what? Who was going to tell me no in the car? Who was going to say no? Nobody. I'm like, we're stopping for, and we stopped at one place way out there, and it had the little veranda outside. And we had
what was it? The steakhouse?
Oh, we had some good experiences. Yeah. Never build it to the government. No, babe.
The steak out of pocket.
I actually, out of the group, I might have been
was a big spender.
One, and I did the right thing. I was very fair. I paid it forward.
You invested.
I did. I cared. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood why they wouldn't let me do things in the community. I wanted to do a lot more mentoring. I did it anyway and had to hide it. I thought it was great. And I thought being in my position during the day and people seeing the things that I was involved in, and then being in a t-shirt and jeans in down on Governor Street in Patterson, and everybody said, "Oh, you're going to die on Governor. You're a white boy." I would hang out on Governor. I was at Straight and Narrow. I was administrator of Straight and Narrow for a while. At one point, I was administrator of their day reporting program before it burned down. All those dangerous streets of Rosa Parks, they weren't dangerous.
Kintop.
For firefighting.
Oh, right. She brought my firefighting experience. Well, as I did that as a volunteer, I did that back in Bergen County.
Wow.
I did leave a few times for fires. I went 9/11. 9/11. I responded. You were there.
You responded.
I left. I went with work. I went with the county, and I responded with the county for 9/11. We were there for Tower 2, and then I stayed with my volunteer fire department for a while. What a day! I'll never forget that day. You were there that day. It was a Tuesday. The court was on Tuesday, but you were there up in the office on that Tuesday morning.
I prayed.
And I remember talking to you before I got in the truck to head over to New York.
To New York.
Yeah, that's another day I'll never forget. Let's not go down that road.
Tough day, but thank you for responding. It was very brave of you to do that.
I never saw anything like that. I got to be honest, and I learned so much working there and everything I did. I had such unfeathered access, right? I mean, to everything. The command centers, everything. They included me in everything because of my position was at a spot that I was able to be in the tactical operations center, all these things. And I got to see some things that just no one ever gets to see and do. Amazing. So segment 4, I want to get into legal now, more legal, all right? Into our segment. And a few more questions. Don't yawn on me, Rev. Let the people hear from you. Keep that energy, that spice you always have. Not much longer to go, and you got to do those other things you wanted to talk about. You said you wanted to bring up. I'm going to come to you with this one direct, Jose, on legal, okay? I have this one for you. So, Jose, with more than 7 years of immigration law experience under your belt, what is the most pressing challenges that our families and the families you're seeing are facing in the system right now? Because remember, and I want to preface something here. Illegal immigration is not good. The first impression going to somebody's house and breaking the law is not good. But there has to be a happy middle. So I just want to get my opinion on the record that I believe there has to be deportations. Yes, ICE is a necessary agency. These things have to happen. But there also is another side. So what say you, Jose?
I think a humane manner of doing things and a change in the laws. I spoke on this morning. I had a video on it, and I think immigration reform is necessary. Let me give you an example. Currently, we have a situation in El Salvador with the gangs where they're sent back, and they go to a jail, and this jail is a very rough place to be. So let's say you have two people. Say you have a gang member who we all agree should be deported for the actions committed, the crimes, whatever's involved. And he may be eligible for relief because he's going to a place where he's going to be tortured
Right.
under
That is
current
an
laws.
interesting, that's an interesting concept. Right.
Wow.
But you have a father who's been in the United States for 30 years, never committed a crime, great man, has children, has a business, paid taxes. He's not eligible for relief. Bringing that into attention today, as you hear me, that is shocking to people like you and me to say, hold on, you're saying this guy on the right hand who has all the things we don't want is eligible, and
Yeah.
this man is not. And the reason is because the laws are from 1996, IRA,
Right.
under Bill Clinton,
President
in
Clinton. Yeah, President Clinton.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
So the world is a totally different world today. So we definitely need new laws applicable to today. Let me share something that you said
That's
that I
something we should
agree with.
talk about, advocacy, and try to get some and try to lobby a little bit on this.
You said something that you guys did in Patterson. You brought a program for fathers, right? And it worked. No one believed in you guys. This is the same thing we need in immigration. We need a
Okay.
new system, new laws that can bring the humanity into it, where we're not just rewarding people for committing illegal acts, but we're actually analyzing and saying, hold on, this is a great person. So we don't think that he should be removed. Let's put it on a scale.
I got a point for that to go with that.
Mhm.
Part of my job was to oversee PSIs, pre-sentence investigative
Mhm.
reports on juveniles. I did them. I reviewed them. This should be something that should happen. Every case should be looked at. A pre-investigative report should be done, kind of like they do in New Jersey with bail. You look at the risk factors and you get a point score. I think that would be. I would like you. We should talk on that and see if we can come up with an idea and forward that along.
Absolutely, Eric. And the reason I say
It would
that,
save the taxpayer dollar too. We wouldn't need to do as many raids. We would
not
make
only
it
wouldn't we
easier.
need to do raids, if we can send them back with a process where they'll go back to their country, await an appointment, have their hearing there, and then come back, the
properly.
legal way,
Yeah.
we would save taxpayer dollars, we would bring the rule of law back, and we would open an opportunity for millions of people to look at the United States justice system and say, hold on, well, this is great. This isn't going on anywhere else in the
I want
world.
to preface something on that for you because what you said is great, and I want to give the other governmental side of that on why this is effective. Because once they've done that, all your compassion and humanitarian side and your cost effectiveness for the taxpayer. But once they come through the system again, we get to bring them through the port legally. We fingerprint them, we photograph them, their ID and their DNA, so we know who our offenders are, and they don't disappear in our systems.
Absolutely.
So
And
we're talking. This is a win across the board, Jose.
all the way. And I think it brings us to the level board where both sides can agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Democrats
everybody
and
agrees the
Democrats.
open border was a terrible thing.
Absolutely. It was a terrible thing, and we know that it was something that was not successful.
Right.
And it harmed a lot of communities and a lot of people. And I think just change, immigration change. We need new laws, and we need something that's updated to
We have to
2025
update so
today.
many laws, but for every, and I think it was President Trump, for every new law, and they create new stuff every day at the federal
Mhm.
level. For every new law, we should throw one old one out.
Well, let me
We
give you an
keep creating
example.
new ones.
Let me give you
You
an
know?
example, Eric, that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of immigration laws are interpreted by the courts. A lot of people don't know
Yeah, they're
about this.
very loose. You go
So
into one area and it's a different ruling.
you go to the Ninth Circuit, which is California,
Oh
and the
yeah, you're gonna have a
interpretation
way
for
different. Yeah.
asylum is very loose there as considered or compared to the Fifth
You mean
Circuit in
Nancy
Texas.
Pelosi's district? Let's call it out. Nancy Pelosi,
Of
San
course.
Francisco.
So you have these different rulings all over the country because Congress never specified in which way they want it to be.
And what's crazy is stare decisis case law would make that work in that particular jurisdiction. So somebody in that under the reign of that court would get some benefits that somebody wouldn't get in, say, let's the Eastern District of New York.
Well, let me give you an example that you'll be shocked to hear. In the state of New Jersey, if someone's caught with cocaine, it's not an aggravated felony due to certain cases like Khan versus
Yeah,
Attorney
you're right.
General,
Yeah,
De La
yeah, yeah.
Rosa versus Attorney General. But if you go to Florida, the minimum
Oh,
amount is an
yeah.
aggravated felony.
You're going to prison. You're going to prison.
And the only reason this is because the laws have been interpreted by the courts because they weren't interpreted by Congress.
Not legislate from the bench. Having somebody that served on the bench for a period of time, don't legislate from the bench.
Correct. So I
Yeah.
think we need that change and that reform, and I think we can actually bring both sides on board and show that open borders don't work, but show that humane immigration can also lead
So
to
let's say it
reducing.
today, Jose. And maybe Joe. What I say, we talk to some people.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it. I like it because I see the way that this is power for the people in general and in every aspect, whether it's public dollars, allocation of resources, delivery of public services, good quality, honest government at the best valuable price we can do. I like it. Ms. Bianchi, you have something there?
You've seen the human side of these cases. What story has stayed with you the most?
I'm going to share this story. It actually brings me. I had to sit down and pray after this situation. I had to sit down and pray. What Eric said was something that kind of stuck with me about the situation that marked him, and this marked
Mark
me.
that time.
It was a case from El Salvador. It was a young father, and he had three young children. He came with his wife and his children. This was in 2017, and his children wrote testimonies.
Was this into New Jersey? Was this coming
New
into New
Jersey.
Jersey? Okay.
New Jersey Immigration Court in Newark.
Newark.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was working pro bono on the cases. We were assisting them with the paperwork, and I had to translate the children's testimonies and affidavits to English.
Yeah.
And the children were 10, 8, and 5. And the 10-year-old wrote the testimony because the house they lived in was a field, and 46 people had been murdered behind their house in the last 3
That was
years.
one of the murder capital areas, right? That
Yep.
Honduras, yeah.
Yep. And the kids wrote testimony, and the older one said, I remember people with bags on their heads and screams. And I'm just happy to be here in
I
America.
got hairs up my arm thinking because I've in
You
the
know,
military, I've seen these things.
My
Yeah, I know
hairs
what's up.
went up as soon as I said it. She
Yeah.
said, I'm just happy to be here in America. And then the 8-year-old shared the screams, and then the 5-year-old really depicted how people were being found dead there. And I remember translating these letters, going back to my area where I was at, and just bowing on my knees and praying and saying, God, I can't carry this with me. You have to take this burden. Like I can carry other things, but this burden is not mine.
There are some
And
things no human should ever hear or see or know about.
Eric, you've been to war, so you know more about war fields than me, but this was something that 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and 5-year-olds shouldn't see. And the thing I love the most about the 10-year-old is she said, I'm just happy to be in America. It made me understand what that
Did
red,
you love
white,
your
and blue
country
means.
at that moment? Did you feel so much pride and patriotism?
It made me happy to understand what that red, white, and blue meant and the freedom it brings to people that are facing
Amen on
tyranny
Yeah.
and violence all over the world. And I think, to me, that's the case that impacted me the most and made me and fueled me to be an advocate because I never wanted them to go back there. It became my mission to help them and others like them who really have problems back at home. And it gave me the perspective to do everything I can in my human ability to make sure that they don't go back. And I thank God for that opportunity. And I just thank God for that red, white, and blue the place that brings
And
hope
I don't know this
to
case.
people fleeing.
I hope for you and for them that the courts on that particular case ruled in a good manner.
The children were able to stay. The father
Good.
was removed, but the children stayed, and it was something
Separate
that
that.
I was
That's
grateful
what we were
for.
saying, invisible children, right? Let's bring it back. So I got another question for both of you guys. How does your work at the Immigration Hope Center and Faith Legal Clinic, right, faith-based legal clinic, give families real hope in the middle of such a complex system? And then I have a preface to that, something I want to tell you that is going to happen, that I've made some calls and we're going to do for you. But answer that question first, both of you guys.
Yeah, I think we bring a lot of hope to the table. Rev has been a great person in this, and just think of a family struggling, just like many are, to supply ends meet, and you go to an attorney office and their price is $15,000-$20,000. Who can afford it? And then you
But
reach
law
out
school
to
is
us.
expensive. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it is. It really is.
You reach out to us, and we're able to assist you at a small fee, and many times pro bono, and you're provided the service that you wouldn't be allowed to have. And I think families see us as a hope, or as a place where they find that opportunity to be defended. And we've been very successful. All our people that we help are recommended. People just call and say, listen, call these people. Even if you don't have it now, they'll assist you. They have a small fee. And I think that faith-based help is necessary, because as we know, a lot of families just can't cover the fees or the funds
I'm jumping at
necessary.
the bit to tell you my next thing when you're done. Whenever
Yep,
you're
and I think that that's been the part. And Rev's side has been awesome, because I remember Rev 2 years ago. You may remember, he put us in contact with a judge from the Second Circuit in New York, and this judge gave us an insight and said, hey, we commend what you're doing. And he went out and
Rev is amazing
networked
with
for us.
Joe is amazing with making connections. Yeah.
hmm And that just comes to show that people agree that what we're doing is a great help to the community. And I think just being affordable is one of the greatest things that we can give out to them.
At the Rembrandt Law Firm, we understand the importance of your constitutional rights. We truly care that we must get a client their desired result. If your freedom is compromised in any way, you call us. We do immigration, state and federal criminal defense, personal injury, bankruptcy, DWIs, family law, real estate law. We want you to be confident in our ability to represent you.
Welcome back, Eric A. Cinotti and Miss Bianca C. Right here on the Hostile Zone on all of your dials, iHeart, wherever it is. If it's not there, demand it. So we were talking about, I am so thrilled to talk to you about Attorney Shield. Attorney Shield wants to help your clients directly, and they want to help your organization. They are going to commit to you to do some stuff, and we have to talk offline how to do it, but they're talking about money and services to you, your staff, and your clients. And I'm part of them. We are committed to doing whatever we can to push forward that stuff for you, and I'm happy to tell you that today. I really am.
And how long does it take for them to be on the
Attorney Shield. It's on your phone. You download an app. It's a monthly membership, or you could buy a yearly membership, or you could buy a family membership. Very inexpensive. They're going to offer special rates to your people, services to the staff, as well as making donations to the organization. On your phone, any interaction with law enforcement or the government in general, ICE included, you push the button on your phone, and it connects within 15 to 20 seconds to a live attorney who is on video, and they cannot hang up on him.
That's awesome.
You need a PIN code to turn it off, or you got to yank the battery. And at that point, your Sixth Amendment right to counsel is clearly on video that it's been violated. And we would like to, I'm formally been told to tell you that they would like to support you and your program for the wonderful work that both of you gentlemen are doing and have done.
Amen.
So we
You're
will have that
welcome.
information in the description at the end of the show, and then we'll be putting out more information. Also, I want to say we have on Monday night, we have Eric A. Cinotti Unplugged, runs prime time Monday night. I'd like both of you guys back on, it's just me on that show, to discuss some of these very specific legal issues. We can all affect change together. Would you guys commit to be available for that, to do that?
Absolutely.
All right, good.
9 o'clock.
Atlas, Rose, mark it down. We'll set that up after.
I got a little announcement. Well, I spoke with the chairperson and the treasurer of the board, of directors, and they agreed and approved of me offering Eric the global ambassador position on our board of directors.
Oh,
Global ambassador, what is the actual title?
The global ambassador for justice and strategic affairs.
Oh, I'm very sure Trenton, the state. I'm sure some people in Trenton were quite enthused about that.
Amen.
Cinotti's back in the game to mess with people and make sure services are proper. So I guess I formally accept the appointment. No, I guess we will discuss the incidentals. I'm infused.
Amen.
Ambassador. Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
You know, Rap, that
Yeah,
reminds me of
we'll,
a car with lights and a badge almost driving around. Oh, all right. I don't know. All right.
we'll be at. I'll be sending you an email
Eric.
from the chairwoman on the official board meeting and acceptance from all the board members. There's a total of 9 board members. You'll make the 10th as the ambassador
Outstanding. I
for
am.
prefab
Oh, that's
agreeing
even
of
great.
Charlotte.
I brought Attorney Shield to you, not knowing this. So it's a win for everybody.
Amen.
That allows me to go back to Attorney Shield and try to get some more for you guys. For us now.
It,
For us.
it definitely coincides with our legal clinics and our immigration work. We
Can I
can
bring up a
use it.
piece to your legal clinic that I did at one point, and I would like to see if we could do it, and we could talk more on Monday. I would like to push it an expungement clinic in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Consult in and try to do expungements without charging, pro bono, get it set up through the program, and give people
Listen.
a fresh chance.
There's a need.
There
There's
is
a massive need.
There's a
I
massive
can
need.
walk out. I can walk out of where I am right now, blindfolded, and put my hand on 25 individuals
I said
who
it in the
can
beginning.
use
1 out of
the
3 Americans have a restaurant.
expungement services.
We got 3 people in the room here, and somebody does.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
I'm proud of it too, because I did the right thing. Put my
Me
ground
too.
in, I did the right thing.
That's right.
1 out of 3 is actually funny.
That's great.
Yeah. There's 3 in the room. I'm going back.
I gotta say snaps for Eric
yeah.
though. For
Thank you. I formally accept the opportunity, and we will move forward with it. Bianca's got something to ask.
Jose, your ministry work in Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
How does that connect with your mission in the law?
Mm-hmm. Well, we work with a lot of communities from Haiti. It's not very spoken.
Yeah.
Not very spoken of in the United States, but there's a human, a crisis in Haiti, and a lot of people are filing for parole, stuff like that. So we go to a lot of sugarcane plantations and other different places in the Dominican Republic where we assist the Haitian community in the 6 months that they do not work. So it kind of leads us back to the legal work because we're always looking for ways to help. A lot of times you have a lot of families with sick children or with medical issues that can't be treated on the island and would need to go back to the States. So we're always looking for ways to assist, whether it's a medical visa, just a way so that they can be treated. And there's a lot of great hospitals in New Jersey and New York that actually give free treatment, but you need your visa. So we're always looking out on how to help, but it's more help to the communities in impoverished communities and to the children. A while back, we had English classes because we believe that English is so important and it changes lives. It changes lives in these communities, in these different countries, and it gives them better opportunities. So just all the help we can give just to make sure that tomorrow we have better citizens, not only in America, but all over the world.
Good stewards of our country and good stewards of our world.
Jose, how does faith play into the work with immigrant families, giving them not only legal support, but also dignity and stability?
That was a great question.
Well, the faith is very important. If you look at immigration and you look at activists all over, profit is always one of the main priorities. I think our priorities are really the families. And one of the greatest things that we do is we actually get to know them. If I had a book here, just like Eric had, you can ask me about any case and I can tell you about their story, their family, where they come from, what they went through. And you'll say, well, that's not part of your job. Well, it is. These are people just like you and me, and I need to know their story in order to be able to help. So I think immigration in a faith base is more important because It's not based on profit, it's actually based on the person. And once again, coming back to something Eric said at the beginning, it keeps it in my mind. Those programs were based on getting the funds to the people and not into the pockets of groups or politicians.
Yeah.
And that's why change was made. Once you take away the profit from a lot of these groups and make it faith based or community based, you're going to be more successful than those who are just seeking profit because you're being a greater steward and you're giving your purpose or your talent so that others can be improved or be better in their communities.
I am with you, hands down on that. Do we have Rev on a mic back here? No. All right, keep working on that.
Bueno.
Well, while we're waiting on that, I guess I'll keep talking to you. So go on, Rev. What were you going to say?
I was going to talk about some of your background that I work with in the professional and legal roles.
Oh, you're
As
going to
a
call me out now. All right. Okay, go for
yeah,
it.
well, you've done criminal investigator work, law clerk. You was a senior law director, chief defense analyst. Law clerk, investigator, case manager with the family support system, administrator for the juvenile day program, the flip. So you've covered a lot, man. Academic and faculty positions, military and government, covered a lot, bro. The fire, EMS,
Yeah.
and all your certifications, your military backgrounds, and all the awards you got as a community volunteer. That's the experience that I have with you as a service provider in
Right.
Patterson, New Jersey, and Charlotte, North Carolina.
I thank you for highlighting that.
For the record, I didn't name everything that I could have.
All right, well, then let's do it. Let's have some fun.
No, I want everybody to understand that I got to get ready to go and be with Mrs. Robinson.
All right, so then I'm going to let you end it, whatever you want to say. It's all yours.
Well, let's get the collaboration going. And I know we have the ability to come to the table with some content that can cover some time.
Rev, any final closing, and then we'll move on with him on the stage, and Jose, you and I and Miss Bianca will close it out. So final words, Rev, and then we're going to boot you from the stage.
The wife said you come in
well, yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
He's trying to get back in. Don't do it. just somebody messaged me and asked me if there's something he wanted. All right, so Jose, there's two more little segments I wanted to hit. We're going to talk about redemption and community healing. All right. Mm-hmm. Your motto and Joe Robinson's motto has been recycling lives, and I firsthand have seen that with all the things he called off that I've done. He's seen me do them. I don't know how I did them all. I actually wanted to ask him how that he knew them all. Number one, and how he saw me perform them, and I do manage to pull it off. I don't know, but you do recycle lives. I've seen it. So how does faith, redemption, and the justice come together in one big marriage moving forward?
Well, I'll give you a great example. Great brother of mine. We work with the same program, Immigration Hope Network. He's actually CEO. He's actually faith-based, and we were actually helping him with his case. 2018, we took his case. We got his green card back. But he had been to prison many times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And he had never been able to get his life together. But that last time, the faith in the immigration procedure or the criminal procedure that we went through changed his life. And this brother's been free from prison for close to 7 years now. It's the first time in his history since he.
What state is he in? What state?
He's in New Jersey. He's in New Jersey. He's actually CEO.
What town? May I ask
He's
what
in
town?
Patterson. He's in Patterson, New Jersey, and he's doing great work with other kids there. And it's the first time that he's been free, and his life has changed. He's nothing. He's not the man from before. No more going in and out of prison. And it just comes to show that when you bring faith, you bring legal work together, but you also give the person a chance to change. You're able to create something in the community that's awesome. And let me share something. He did a food drive about a year ago, I remember, for Thanksgiving. He went out and he fed 100 families during Thanksgiving that were going hungry. And just let me give you an example. 10 years ago, he was selling drugs to maybe these same families. And now he's actually feeding them and changing the community. And I think that if he can change, we can all change. Redemption is available to all, and we just have to be willing to put in the time and the effort to actually create change in our communities, and we can affect change.
And it starts in the
Absolutely.
community.
It starts with their heart too.
And it starts with government too. It starts with government helping them actually have that chance. When they've done their time, they've done their rehabilitation, right? Giving them the chance to come back into the community and restore their rights, have their rights. I mean, you're supposed to get your voting right back. You're supposed to have restoration of right. Preface of the world right now that gun rights will be restored automatically if it's not violent. There should be no reason. You regular back to person. So you shouldn't be, I like some of the states that have banned the box rule, so you can't ask that, because if it's not relevant and it's not fair and it's a form of discrimination. We go back to Jim Crow on that stuff, almost like, so it's time to look at it. I like it like that. Miss Bianca, anything? No?
So far, I'm liking what I'm hearing right now.
All right, so I want to bring up something that is near and dear to my heart. We're talking about veterans as one myself, right? And this is something I've been talking about on every episode of every show that I do, and I write about it in my columns and articles. The VA has a program called the Mission Act, the VA Mission Act. And the VA Mission Act is basically, we have inside of military and government and VA, there is in-house insurance, right? The VA Mission Act then also has to go to the community for services that you might not be able to get. Regular insurance, like it kind of being able to go out of network, right?
Okay.
All right. So the Mission Act makes it out of network. You just need a referral, right? So the Mission Act says when they send you out to a community care provider, which a lot of times, especially with mental health programs, nobody wants to go in network because they don't want to tell those stories. They don't want to be flagged. They don't want to lose a government clearance. They don't want there's a lot of reasons why we don't want to have those conversations. So they go to a community provider. So the Mission Act put out for partnerships, right? And these are community providers, all types, every basic modality you can think of. One we're going to talk about today is pharmacies. And we're going to call out CVS Pharmacy, specifically the CEO of CVS. The VA Mission Act is very clear. It says the VA can send people to the community, and there's different tiers like every insurance. Certain tiers have no out-of-pocket, no copay, and based on your tier. Like my tier is no copay. So I just go and get my stuff, and that's it. It depends on where you classify. So under the Mission Act, you go to that provider, but even if you are in a tier that has a copay, the Mission Act explicitly states that you don't pay at the counter, that the government recoups it from you. It's the government's responsibility to get that copay back, not the provider. Bottom line, veterans should not be humiliated at the register. Now, I found this near and dear because I needed a prescription. It cost me $65, and they demanded at that point, and it was somebody went to pick it up, a family member for me. Let's just say she wasn't the fighter that I am, which not everybody is, and there's no detriment, and she paid it. And, we are fortunate enough, me and my family, that I can afford that $65. But with a carton of eggs at $10, right? And rent where it is and everything going on, and from what you're dealing with, that is a decision people make. The life-saving medication or eating or your home. And when the Mission Act explicitly says no out-of-pocket, you're dealing with making a decision, maybe not even being able to get it at all, and being humiliated in front of everybody at the counter when you're told you can't have it. I paid it, and they said to her, don't worry, he can submit to the government and they'll reimburse him. Well, if they're going to do that, that's your job. And the CEO, just so we call it, David Joyner, makes $17.8 million a year. And this happened to me at a CVS. I paid it. And I didn't submit for the $65 to be reimbursed because I'm okay with that. What for the veteran that can't? I'm calling on him on every episode to come on to one of these shows and address this, because maybe I give the benefit of the doubt. When you're in leadership, a lot of times you don't know everything that's happening. But he definitely has to know the provisions of the Mission Act. And I would like him to come out and address it. And if it's happening, I'd like him to rectify that problem and to do something with Tunnels to Towers program and Wounded Warrior Project and make good on that. Because you have an average American family on Friday, right? And test with me here, Jose. The average American family doesn't even make about $900 at the end of on a Friday.
That's correct.
This guy makes $347,000 every Friday. The average person in America, if their hot water heater were to break or their car were to break down, they're done. They don't have that money in the bank to cover that. So you're talking about people who can't afford this, and you're talking about people that have done the bravest and most boldest things. So I want to know, will you stand with me today? And I know Joe would, and I'll ask him again, but will you stand with me today and declare this clearly? No veteran should be forced to pay first. No veteran should ever be humiliated. Every partner program must honor the Mission Act. Are you with me?
Yeah, I stand with you. I stand with you and agree.
As a veteran, as a military member, we raise our right hand. I do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign or domestic, etc., etc. I make that oath, and then I follow through on that oath if I'm called to duty. And a lot of us have, myself included, and we bear burdens of all kinds to do that. But we took the oath, and we followed through with the oath. CBS took the oath of taking the partnership of the VA to get the business, but they are not honoring their oath by following the protocol.
Right.
And that should not happen. And I think Miss Bianca gets really emotional about it too. She has a
It's
follow-up
like
on it.
our heroes kept their oath. Shouldn't our institutions keep theirs? Can we all agree right now, no veteran pays first. No veteran is humiliated. Every promise must be kept. Would you say yes or?
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
What
agree.
say you on that? Yeah, what's your thought? I mean,
Yeah,
when
I
you make
agree.
17.8 million a year, and you're going to tell somebody that they should wait for their especially when they're not supposed to pay at all, or they're not. I didn't even have a copay at all, so now that was a wasted $65.
Not only that, Eric, you have a lot of veterans dealing with mental health. So you're embarrassing them at the counter, and you're forcing them into situations that may take them to make other choices that we don't agree with.
And we
These
know the
veterans have
suicide
given
rate.
their lives,
You would
their
say
relationships, their souls.
suicide is 22 plus veterans a day. So
Yep.
if they're showing up for help,
You never know
you
what's
can't
gonna
you can't
come
trigger it, right?
Yep, and I agree with you guys. I agree that we're calling him out, and he needs to come forward because our veterans deserve better.
I thank you for standing with me on that. I've been calling it out every day. We've come to the close of our segments. So Jose, how would you? I'll give you the last 30 seconds to end it, and then I go to my closing monologue.
Yeah, I just want to call everybody to watch this and hear us, and just basically call out to those in power and let them know that we have programs in mind, and we have programs that can be in your community that can affect change. We have faith-based programs, and we have programs like Eric and Dr. Robertson have run in other places that can be successful and change your community for the better, and hopefully lead others to different places like Wall Street, so that they tomorrow can be a testament of change.
And that was very well said. Very well said. I
Yeah.
actually really like that because it's at the end of the day, it is our communities,
Mhm.
and what we sow is what we reap. If you don't water a plant and you give it garbage, it's going to grow and become something you very much don't want.
Mhm.
And we know this from our experience in these communities. So I thank you, Jose, for being out here. And I am so excited that you're going to come back to Unplugged. And we're going to talk more after this. Stay in the green room to chat for a second when we're done with my monologue. But I would like to, on Monday, when we do Unplugged, I would like to discuss the immigration philosophy questions maybe that we can bring forward. Miss Bianca, anything for me?
I just want to say, Jose, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you guys for having me.
And I'm so excited about the ambassador appointment. I'm sure Trenton is pretty enthused about that leadership. At least on one political party is maybe not so enthused. And I look forward to it. I do accept. I will formally do whatever paperwork and whatever needs to be done. Moving
Awesome.
forward. Stay in the green room. Thanks again, Jose. Thank you again.
You too.
Well, Bianca, what a show.
Absolutely. What a great show.
And we're on a roll. We're on a roll with this CBS. CBS, what's going to happen every show, every day. We don't dislike you. I probably assume you don't even know that this is happening. This might even be independent CBSs, and we'll name them. We'll start naming independent CBSs. I've been calling out Eric at ericandrewcinotti.com. Email in, and we are probably up to, I want to say 2,900 emails in a couple days of veterans that this has happened to. And for the veterans, I need to say that are emailing me in, make sure you white out your personal information because they're sending me their receipts and stuff. I don't want your date of birth, your numbers, and some specific, but I do like that. And the majority is CBS.
Mhm.
The majority is CBS. We're up to 2,800 plus. So if you are a victim of that, please reach out. Maybe this is a systemic issue at the higher level, or maybe it is at the local CBS, but we'll find out. America, tonight we saw what true leadership looks like. I think on every episode we do, but we really did today. And I can attest from my years of experience and I do thank Joe for the kind words. And I thank him for his tutelage and mentorship in helping me get to where I am today. 1998, brother. It's been a long time. But he's proved that faith and justice can be a team. And I like when him and Jose said faith is not being a Bible toter. We're not quoting scripture. We're just having faith that something out there is more powerful and more divine than us. Mm-hmm. And we're co-joining that with bureaucracy to build better communities. Jose sharpened the law, compassionate in service, and I honor that. He showed us that no matter how hard the system is, and together we stood united to stand for veterans. I appreciate him for that. No veteran should ever be humiliated, and no promise should ever be broken. Promises that were made must be kept. You're born with one thing in life. You have honor. Don't lose that honor. This is a fight. Protect the families, empower the forgotten, and defend our great republic. This is the Hostile Zone, and I'm Eric A. Cinotti. Good night. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you for coming with us another.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the balls bursting out, yet through the night, that our flag was still there.
And she's not going anywhere.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner